and turn on
And I'm
the.
not saying this is the absolute best way to do it, but a lot of times in my favorites, I'll create a folder for the dated of the session, and as I click on all the links, I save those all in there. But
You know what? I should add a page that has like extra resources that we bring up in each of the sessions. That's a great idea. I think would be helpful for anybody who doesn't make the live sessions. Okay, thank y'all for that. Um, Keeping me on my toes. Welcome back to Applied AI in AI or in college classrooms. We are moving on to a new module now. So last time we did session 2.2, talking about inclusive AI policies. If I scroll on down here, we are now moving into module 3, which is the prompt engineering fundamentals. So um, I'll just go over really quick our goals for this session, and then and then we're going to move into some stuff that's happening in AI this week. Our goal here to master fundamental prompt engineering principles. Um, and sorry, I was reading the chat. And techniques to maximize and the effectiveness of AI tools for educational purposes, develop skills in iterative prompt refinement, and build a personalized prompt library for common teaching tasks that will enhance your instructional efficiency and creativity. That's going to be the focus of the apply, is to try to get some prompts together that you might use often. Some people find a way to use AI in their course that they like, and keeping those prompts handy. I can give you an example. Whenever I teach ESL on the weekends over at a local library, and whenever I am looking at we usually cover a current event article, and if I'm trying to put together some vocabulary for my students to study, I have this prompt that I use so that I can just paste in the article and the words that I want them to focus on, and then it will output into a Kahoot. Um, it'll output into an Excel file that I can send to Kahoot, and Kahoot will create all of the slides, I guess is what they're called, on Kahoot, so that it's very easy to go over the vocabulary with them. And so um, that's one example of a prompt where I'll always use it every week that I have that class. By the end of this session, we're going to define what prompt engineering is. We're going to look at some principles and identify the key techniques for you to interact with AI. We're going to practice iterative prompt refinement. So looking at what makes a good prompt versus what is not as good. And then we're going to, like I said, create that prompt library tailored for you. We're going to document and analyze the most effective prompt strategies and patterns. So you're going to kind of like think about it and reflect on those, and then share your prompt discoveries in the discussion board with the peers. What we need this week: access to your favorite Gen AI chatbot. Um, Try to brainstorm some of your most common teaching tasks, or if you're not teaching, maybe some of your most common tasks that you do. Um, and then, you need your journal to reflect, and then a notebook if you're like writing stuff down. And then LinkedIn if you want to mess around on LinkedIn and share what you're learning with a wider audience. Okay, I'm going to move on to our listen part here, and I've created a little gamma presentation for this one. And so just to overview for this specific, we want to do fundamental prompt engineering principles and techniques to maximize the AI effectiveness for educational purposes. And we're going to do that through clear communication strategies. Before we jump into that, though, this week in AI, if anybody, something that they've been working on, or maybe something that you discovered using AI this week, feel free to hop off mute and share with the group, or maybe you can type it out in the chat. Yeah, go ahead, Kelly.
So, in my Linux 2 class, my students are building an equivalent of like a small office, like a medical office or a small office network. And they're doing it using Linux. And I would normally have them draw this out using Visio. Microsoft Visio is a tool. And I decided this quarter to use a tool called Lucid Chart because I have AI built into it now. And what I did was I essentially wrote up instructions that stated who the audience was, the students, what they were building it for in Office, what servers, what computers need to be on, but I wasn't specific on, on the network. They had to have a demilitarized zone and a local network. And it built it, but what ended up happening was, for example, I have them use an internet appliance where it's an operating system that does the firewall and security and routing, but it would separate it. And if you asked it to combine them, it would combine them off to the side, but you couldn't integrate into the diagram. Like we ran into some really interesting issues with it. Yeah, it's a pretty cool, it's having AI integrated in it, because I've used that for years, but having the AI in it now really helps on one hand, but on the other hand, you have to be extremely specific in what you're asking of it. You almost have to take things out of it to make it work.
Oh,
Instead of saying this is router, firewall, and integration, you just label it as a device, a server, and then label it as the router, firewall, security appliance, and then it would work. But if you asked it, like the initial drawing showed the 3 items stacked, we just wanted them combined into one server and labeled. It couldn't do that. Even when I asked it, can you please combine these 3 items into a label? And it could not figure out what I was asking. And I crashed it twice. I did. I crashed it twice. I think I was throwing too much at it at once. So I freaked.
So that's actually a really good segue into what we're focusing on this week, is the prompt engineering. What you put into these AI models. If you're going to put something in that, I mean, when we're out just having a conversation with chat, it's it's different. You can, the better your prompt, the better response is always what we say. But for your example specifically, if you put something in that's not correct, then it's just going to completely crash the system.
Right. Well, one of the things that was funny was when I share a drawing, a network map diagram, I'm used to it being written from left to right, just like you're reading a book, a page, right? Well, it was doing the stacked thing from top to bottom, which is okay, except if you try to print it, it becomes a mess. So I asked it, can you please, reformat it from top to bottom to left to right. And, it just moved the labels to the left side of the servers and clients. It didn't actually. So then I had to stop and think about, what am I asking it to do? It was like killing us. And some of the students were throwing out ideas, and it it was fun, but then after class, I sat down with it and said, "Okay, I'm gonna conquer this thing." And I have to admit, I did not conquer it. Not
Okay,
yet.
still a work in progress.
Yep, not yet, but I'll get it. And then I'm gonna have to get more specific. So this tool that's supposed to make things easier is now making it a little bit harder on me, more work for me to have to get specific in the
Mm,
areas that need specificity, I guess, to get it to do what needs to be done, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I know. I just had that conversation yesterday. I was meeting with some of the folks, some of the administrative assistants for the E team at our college, and they were wondering how we can um, utilize AI to help with some of the meeting minutes. And we were going through it. It was James Shumate and I, and we were like trying to, demo what it would be like. And at some points we realize maybe it's just easier for you to do it yourself. Um, at some
Yeah,
points we realize it's much easier to let AI do all the, grunt work, and then we're able to take that and kind of refine it down further. So
right.
that's
Absolutely.
important thing that hopefully we're going to be talking about every week is when we can use AI, when we should use AI, and when we should not use it. So,
Yep.
um, thank you, Kelly, for that example. And I quoted you here because I think this is what you said. Oh, uh, what am I asking it to do is the question that's the most important question um, for this week, talking about prompt engineering, because that's what uh, you have to get that idea clear in your mind um, going into it. And it's not necessary. You don't have to do it, but the clearer you are, the better the result. And so that brings me here to our next focus is the 4 pillars of effective prompts. These kind of change with me depending on the model and kind of how advanced and what I want to do. But the first thing here is clarity, using precise, unambiguous language that AI can easily interpret. It's pretty good at interpreting a lot of stuff. Like I'm a notoriously bad typer, and so sometimes I'll type in some word and the letters are mixed around and there's a lot of red squiggly lines, but somehow chat knows for the most part. There's been a couple of times where I had to read, say, "Oh no, that's not what I meant." There, so clarity, especially on what you're asking it to do. Um, Another thing here is the context, giving enough background for AI to understand your goals. So letting it know who you are, if you're doing something for students, who your students are, um, what's your class, any sort of extra information that you think would be helpful for the AI to know to help give you a more tailored answer. Format, um, I'm kind of, sometimes I'll say the format that I want. Sometimes I'll wait to see what chat comes up with. Um, but defining exactly what you want in terms of the output. So talking about how long something should be, in what style it should be. That could be, put it into a table, or it could also be write this in a humorous style. So you can choose those kind of contexts, and then or those kind of styles, and then of course the format that you would want it in is the format. So and then last one here, the purpose. Explain how you will use the output to shape a better response. Why are you doing this? Just so that if we're going to be using AI as kind of a co-intelligence, like almost like an assistant, the more that you have, more information that you have that you can give to it, is going to get better. I also used to do role, but I don't know. I've heard from people, and I haven't been doing role recently, but saying like, you are a instructor at a technical college and you teach cybersecurity, that kind of stuff. I feel like that is, I've kind of moved that from its like own standalone thing into context. So that I include that at the beginning. When y'all are making prompts, are there anything other considerations that you make besides these 4 that are listed here? Sometimes I'll write at the end, make sure you don't include any M dashes. If anybody knows about chat, though, I read, I think it was on LinkedIn, maybe somebody put a screen capture of Sam Altman saying that the M dash problem has been solved. So I don't know if that's a true thing. Recently they released ChatGPT 5.1. So actually I had that here under some of the stuff that was happening in AI this week. I'll put this link in the chat. And I just thought about this. I'm probably going to do, I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. I'll put the chat, maybe I'll just put the text version of the chat into the intro page right above the video and say, if you aren't able to attend live, here's the chat. I think that was earlier they were saying, or yeah, one person was saying that they wanted access to the chat. So Rachel King says no emojis. Nice. I know ChatGPT especially can get pretty emoji happy. I like when I say don't use any M dashes, and then in the response, like note to me, it'll say, got it, M dash. I won't use any M dashes. So Kat, you said revise. Can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
Oh, just Kelly had wrote reflection. Anything that you had said earlier about adding to that slide of 4 items of prompt engineering, just something to kind of, as we're prompt engineering, generally speaking, just kind of like, is there a revision or revise, or how could you revise it if you looked at the output of what it produced, type of thing?
Yeah, that's kind of in interacting with it, which I definitely think is part of prompt engineering, because you have your first prompt that you kind of engineered as well as you could, but then odds are the result is not going to be exactly what you wanted, and so that kind of gets into the thing where, okay, do I want to tell chat the revisions that I want it to make, or do I just want to take this and kind of fix it up the way I want it to be myself? And so yeah, Jeremy, when I still use M dashes, you can't take them away from me. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's weird now. Like I never really thought about it, but now that I've seen so much output with it, my brain first goes to, was this written? And then my second thought is, I don't care. So there were some prompts. Speaking about prompts, I found this article which is talking about ChatGPT 5.1, and there are some prompts to try that maybe you could try it in the different versions of chat. So let me see if I can find that that one that I was asking it said you can try a birthday plan. So maybe trying this in 5.1 versus you can come in here and you can choose different models. And actually, I'm saying 5.1 as if everybody can access it. I think it's only on certain plans that you can use it. So this is one of the ones that I tried, was the plan, the birthday party for a 10-year-old who loves Pokemon. And this is actually really good. I have a son that just turned 9, but I'm thinking about maybe for next year, if his interest in Pokemon grows, this is pretty good for under $100. It's got like separated by price for each thing. So food and drinks, $30, cake, $20, games and prizes, and like it was talking about, it gave all these games: catch the Pokemon scavenger hunt, Pokemon ball toss. Oh, this I was reading earlier. You could get a round cake and decorate it like a Pokeball, and you could also get Pokeball pizza. You just put pepperonis on one side and then cheese on the other, and then olives in the middle. I don't know. Genius, I thought. I could possibly use this almost as is for a birthday party for next year for my son. Okay, so those are the 4 pillars. In terms of educational, yeah, you saw that Pikachu chips. Just buy chips and call them Pikachu chips. Easy. So course material creation at the right academic level. This is something that you can do with a prompt where you have, let's say you have a body of text that you need your students to read. You can use AI to tier it. You can have a simplified version, you know, college level version, and then whatever the more advanced version would be. It's really great for differentiation. Assessment design aligned with learning objectives. So we're going to go into this more specifically later in this course, where we'll take course learning outcomes, we'll take a current assignment and make sure that they're level to each other. And that's actually something that we did at our college. We're trying to, most of y'all are from our college, but at our last in-service, we used something called the CWLO checker, where we'll put our assignments into a GPT that we created, and that is aligned with one of our college-wide learning outcomes, and it goes through your assignment and checks off how it's aligned with that college-wide learning outcome, which is helpful down the line to course learning, down to the assessment level, and then objectives to whatever you need to do while you're giving your instruction in the classroom. Student feedback tailored to your teaching style. We talked a little bit, I think it was in the session 2 weeks ago, about being careful using student work with AI, and kind of some of the troubles that can be some trouble that can happen if you put in sensitive data from your students. So make sure that if you are thinking about using AI to help with feedback, making sure that there is no identifiable information for anybody when you submit it. And then research support grounded in your discipline's conventions. I don't know if I talked about it in this group, but some of the models have research in them. and I don't know if anybody's ever used it. I've used the ChatGPT one once or twice, but the one that I like to use is Cloud. Cloud has a research function in there, and it has research in there that it'll take like 15 minutes to go through and find, like sometimes I'll watch it, find the sources, and it'll find like 200 sources for whatever you're working on, and then it will give you pages of AI research essentially, but it'll give you the links. It will add in the citations, and so I wouldn't use that like straight out of the box, which is kind of what we've talked about, over and over again in this class. You want to make sure you're the human in the loop, and you're going through and making sure that it makes sense and flows and has your voice and all that kind of stuff. But just for the resources alone, like having all of those, if usually they're academic papers that they're kind of like going through and getting the information from. So it's pretty nice for using it for research. And I even listened to a podcast today. It's a podcast that I listened to called Teaching. Hold on. AI Goes to College. Has anybody ever heard that of that podcast? AI Goes to College. It's from somebody. I think it's two people from Washington State University that talk about AI. But yeah, they were talking about research today on that one, and how they've been using that, how they've been using ChatGPT to help with research. So I got a reflection prompt here. I'm going to put this text here in the chat. Which of these pillars are AI creation of this? Put this in the wrong place. Oh, actually, no, because I remember that when I did it here, I have it at the bottom. So speaking on the pillars earlier, we already said this. So which one do you use well? And which one could transform your teaching practice if you applied it more consistently? That's already done. Okay, so some common prompting mistakes that you want to look out for. Vague requests. Help me with my class. What's your class? If you type in something like this, it's pretty much nothing. It's gonna ask you a bunch of questions. What's your class? Who do you teach? All that kind of stuff. This one, a little bit more specific. I'm still not great, according to some of those pillars we were talking about, but create 3 discussion questions for introductory biology. I see the context here. I see the task here, 3 discussion questions, and then format. I don't know if it's really format. But adding in more is obviously going to help with less back and forth. Trying to get, once again, prompt engineering. What do you want? What did I type? What did Kelly say? What am I asking it to do? Missing the context, omitting the student level, course type, or institutional setting. So once again, help me with that class. Doesn't have any of that stuff in there. Introductory biology, that doesn't really have the student level. That just has the name of the class. So it's got the course type. And then biology, introductory biology for what? For high school? For college? For just my own interest in biology. Assumption errors, expecting AI to automatically reflect your teaching voice. I mean, expecting it really to do anything well. No, that's too harsh. I would say for this one, rather than your teaching voice, is assuming that everything that AI says or everything AI provides is correct. I don't. I thought I added something about hallucinations, but it might have been for something else. For those that don't know about hallucinations, back when it's like chat was just starting to get popular, ChatGPT maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I don't know, but it would make up a lot of stuff. Like it didn't have a lot of guardrails on what was what was real and what was not. You could say make a story about the Ronald Lethko, the farmer from Germany in 1200s, like, and then it'll make it as if that was like a real story, or like a real historical profile on a person that didn't exist, but it would act like it was real. And so that's when the term hallucination came around. And I would say it's getting better now. It'll say, like, if I did that same thing, it'll say, I'm not sure, I've heard about the farmer Ronald Lethko from whatever, but if there was that person, then here's what it would be. So it would kind of like qualify it, where in the past it wouldn't do that as much. Kelly, I see your hand.
Yeah, you brought up vague requests, missing context, assumption errors. My students this quarter, my lab provider moved to a new platform. And as the students are going through the labs, their cloud labs, Microsoft makes changes on the fly, so does Amazon. So the lab may not work as written at the time it was written. So when the students go in and click support, they actually get like a chat bot. It's AI. And what they're supposed to do is, tell it what the problem is. And they ask, please be specific. What lab are you on? What step are you on? What was the issue? What was your outcome? And include a screenshot. And my students started out being very vague. The lab doesn't work. And then it would come back and ask them 100 questions and they get frustrated and then go beyond, escalate it. And now they're learning to get more specific with the issues because they get a response quicker,
Yeah.
And I realize they're being trained in this. They're being trained. They don't even realize they're being trained in prompt engineering as they go through and identify it. I mean, it's great for IT because it's technical writing and being able to identify an issue and troubleshoot, being specific. But I realized like 2 weeks in, like, oh my gosh, my students are learning a lot about prompt engineering. I don't know if you remember when Amazon crashed like a few weeks ago. AWS went down and all heck broke loose. Then things started to happen in the labs that weren't optimal. Things started to change rapidly. So it was like a flood of issues for a while. And now things have smoothed out because the students have learned how to ask the questions and how to state their issues, and the context that they're requesting to get the quickest answer back. And to be able to work through the problem. So
nice. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that kind of skill of learning to ask the right questions, I think that's going to be an important skill in the future. At the same time, I watched a video. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I was meant to have this one up, queued up, but it was somebody from Stanford, and they were talking about prompt engineering. Yeah, this is good. So it's this one here, Stanford's Practical Guide to 10x Your AI Productivity.
Great at pushing back.
Ignore the subtitles. So it's talking about context engineering and then chain of thought. Actually, I don't know if it's exactly this one. Oh, this is it. No, I don't know. I just saw the guy. I know this guy. I'll see if I can find the video, but he's talking about if you don't know exactly how to like what the best prompt to get like the best prompt to use to talk with AI, ask AI what the best prompt would be to solve your problem. And so it's kind of like metacognitive. Uh, you could probably do the same, like, the same pillars, give it all the, same information, give it the context, and then say, how can I ask you, like, what's the best way to ask you to solve this problem? And then it will give you uh, the prompt that you would then just say, okay, now act on that prompt.
When I share, I've experimented with that approach a little bit,
Yeah.
and occasionally it's been successful. A lot of times it ends up giving a really complicated prompt that surprisingly doesn't work as well as a more straightforward prompt. So, like I've experimented with, here's in plain language what I think I want you to do,
Yeah.
and then so take the output of that and compare it to, okay, I'm trying to do this, give me the prompt that you think will give me the best result, and compared the end results of both of those, and oftentimes it did better just on the initial prompt of this is what I want. Occasionally it would identify some helpful parameters or something that I hadn't originally included that could make me refine the prompt, but almost in every case, a prompt that I wrote that would be like a third of the length of what it suggested was an ideal prompt would produce a better output.
All right. There we go. Thank you for sharing that example. Yeah. So it's tricky, and I don't know if I've talked about this in this course yet, but you have when you're doing the prompt engineering, I think I talked about it in at the beginning. It doesn't even matter if you have like the same prompt. I can put a prompt in, y'all can put prompt in the same prompt into your instances of chat, and you're going to get different results. And so, um, it's all about experimentation. It's all about trying to get clear on what you're wanting from the AI. Um, that's what I would say is kind of what you want to focus on when you're doing prompt engineering. Um, this is just some quick examples here of a poor prompt. Make a quiz about history. I don't know if anybody would actually try that one, but a better example would be create a 10-question multiple choice quiz on World War II causes for college freshmen. So giving who is it for? Focusing on economic and political factors. Okay, so adding a little bit more extra content and purpose there. Generate 5 specific feedback comments for improving thesis statements in undergrad essays using encouraging but direct language as opposed to help students write better. What would y'all say is if you've seen people work with AI or you've worked with AI, maybe some troubles that y'all have run into with prompts?
I think we kind of talked about this, I think, in the first week, but if you're a little bit too roundabout and you ask a game about the 5 essential people to gaming who created gaming, and we kind of had to narrow it down because it's going to look at the whole entire time of gaming. But if you want it to narrow it down to the beginning of gaming, you have to say like the fathers or creators of it from the very beginning to narrow your search down. So kind of like you said, with the focusing on economics and political factors, then the AI is going to know more of what you're wanting to look for. I do know that we have pulled some, we have a project management group, and you know how books sometimes come out with a new book, but essentially all they do is move the chapters around. That they would say, "Can I get 10 multiple choice questions from chapter one from such and such book, version two?" And it might not have the right ones because it's looking at all the chapter ones if that book was ever
Oh,
produced.
yeah.
So we narrowed it down by saying the chapter called, and then we quote the name of the chapter, and we got much better results that way.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. I like that. Um, more specificity is generally going to be helpful, but sometimes if you're too much, as Jeremy was saying earlier, maybe it's not going to give you exactly what you're looking for. So iterative refinement. So this will go kind of piggyback off what Kat was saying earlier. Start broad, then narrow. You know, try, I don't know if I really agree with this one, actually. I think maybe start broad, begin with general request. I think if you try to, we're kind of going into this idea of having it more specific first, because it's going to be less what's that called, less times that you have to use the the interactions with the chat. So Kat, I see your hand?
Yeah,
Maybe?
I think a lot of times, and I've even encountered this in some situations, a lot of times I don't think students even know where to start. And
Mm,
so and they don't know what they don't know. So remember that we were together in a group one time and make a picture, right? I just want you to generate a picture on this, right?
mhm,
But you had a variety of, as we go through the room to share what prompt was used to create what picture, there were certain individuals that had more of a background and knowledge in defining what that picture could look like.
mm,
So I am not into art as deeply as other individuals could be, and not knowledgeable about art and the ways of, the eras and the ways you would talk about art. So um having there was no way that I would have initially known to be able to prompt to the specificity of some other prompts that existed. And so it creates a little bit of an opportunity for learning as well. So in that aspect, if I was to prompt in a different way initially in a general sense, and then kind of also explore other ways to prompt it in that way, either through chat GPT or through team sharing, um, or through the class exercise or something, then I could actually be more inquisitive, or just kind of at that moment learn more about what these artistry aspects and details are, um, to be able to prompt it better. But I think it's really um, an aspect if you start generally and then are able to kind of be more specific about it as you're evaluating it. It helps in that sense.
yeah.
But
Yeah, actually, you know what,
evaluating that.
that's a really good point. Because yeah, it's maybe sometimes you don't know, like if you're gonna don't know what you want. You have an idea, um, and what what this section here is talking about, the iterative refinement. So you start with an idea, maybe it is broad, and then as you interact with, the responses that you get, then you can start to narrow down. Oh, okay, I want to focus on that one. I want to, you know, get more details on this aspect. Um, yeah, I like that. Thank you, Kat. That's sometimes I get so into the way that I do it that I
That was another realization I had at that very moment too, is had I gone down the path that I was only thinking of, I wouldn't have been able to be open to other
mm,
ways of doing it. So being able to evaluate it in a group setting took me out of my own way of thinking.
yeah, that's awesome. So that goes kind of into the next one here. Test and adjust, evaluate your responses, tweak the prompts. Um, you know, you could continue the conversation, or if it's something that you feel like you're going to use in the future, remember, sometimes what I'll do is I'll go through like a whole conversation, and like if I'm trying to format like a course to have a similar format, I'll go through one conversation and get it exactly the way I want, because I've been prompting for a couple of years, but still it takes me a couple times to like get exactly what I want, depending on what AI I'm using. And then what I'll do is at the end, I'll say, okay, I want to do this again. Give me a summary of this so that I can go into another chat and kind of pick up where I left off. And I save those prompts, the summary prompts. And then anytime I need to, like if I'm working on the next page or module or something, I'll use that as the base. And yeah, I think that's this one here, building on success, saving and reusing effective prompt patterns. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And then learning from your failures, like learning what's not helpful when you're interacting with AI, and making sure to take those out if you're going to try to do something like that again. This is the prompt improvement cycle. You're going to start with initial response. You'll get the AI response, evaluate the quality of that, right? Make sure you read it. And then identify the gaps where it's like what it's missing. And then add another prompt that lets it know, okay, this is good, this is good, this is not good. And then you should get improved output, and then kind of repeat that from 2 to 6. That's a prompt improvement cycle for y'all. And then last one, here are the key takeaways. Well-structured prompts save time and improve quality. AI needs details about your students, course, and institution. And when I say details about students, I'm not talking about names or any sort of other identifiable information. I mean, like, I teach college students. I usually say I teach low level ESL students if I'm doing, trying to create any content for the ESL classes that I teach, because sometimes if I'll say, oh, I'm teaching college students or adults, they'll include a bunch of words that, after teaching ESL for 15 years, I'm like, no, they're not going to know this word. So that's an important one for me when I'm making prompts. Effective prompts come from testing and refinement. Yep, getting in there and trying them and trying to find out what's the best, and then saving the strong prompts to adapt them across courses. Yeah. So Kelly in the chat says, you spend days trying to refine a prompt, it's hard to know when to stop. That's an important thing. When do you finally say, okay, I can just do this myself. I'm not going to spend all day on this. It's just going back and forth, back and forth. There's some references and resources here. One of the ones that I really liked was effective prompts for AI. So if you really want to get more in more detail on prompt engineering, this one from MIT is pretty good. That's on the reference page, but it's kind of a lot of similar things we're talking about specific. They talk about different kinds of prompts, which is a little out of the scope of what we'll be focusing on here, but that's a really good one. These are all pretty good, but I like that one because it's from MIT. All right, we still got some time here to do some exploring. We're going to practice iterative prompt refinement through some hands-on experiments right now. We're going to transform vague requests into effective education-focused prompts. You'll take a basic teaching task and systematically improve your prompts until you get high-quality usable results. We're going to use chat, a teaching task, and prompt tracking. This, like, if you have a document and you can kind of copy and paste the prompts that you use.
Easy time to die. One, two, three, pop.
I don't know if y'all can hear my kid talk right now, but I think he stole my audio with his headphones
He sure did.
I thought I
Can
was
you-
hearing things, man.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Now?
can hear you now.
He's probably like, did he say, I'm connected to the computer?
No.
We finally had some intelligence going on in here. I just don't know what happened.
I was like, it popped up on my screen, the microphone changed. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay.
Oh, no.
Let's get back to it. So step one here, we've got our baseline prompt test. We're gonna start with this deliberately poor prompt of help me create something for my students and see what comes up. With this one, everyone else, feel free to try along on your own. Let's see what it says here. What would you like to create for your students? A lesson plan, worksheet, quiz, project prompt. Ooh, I like project prompt. Reading passage, rubric. Tell me the specifics. Okay, so right away, it's saying you have a bad prompt. Give me more information. Note what the AI asked for and for clarification and what it assumes. Evaluate the usefulness. So no, it didn't do. Like I think maybe in the past it would have tried to like figure something out, but here it needs these specifics. So let's see. Choose a real teaching task. Let's see. I want to do content creation. I'm gonna see what happens when I put this in and see if it still wants to know. Okay, yeah. I can create lecture examples, discussion, questions, and explanations, but I need a bit more detail. It's getting better. Okay. I'll go to y'all for this one. I need this is kind of like what's it called? Where you have to fill in the words. Somebody give me an exact type of content. What kind of content do we want? Do we want a lecture example, some discussion question, an explanation? Somebody give me something. A song. Here we go. What's our topic? Mad Libs is what it's called. Mad Libs. Specific topic. AI prompt engineering. I like when we get meta engineering. And I think I remember, Kat, from before, was it Jaya that was making I think it was like interior design. She was doing some sort of graphics for that.
I think so. Yeah.
I tried to do a music one that was create a song based on, it's all about the prompt, based on all about the
All
bass.
about the Benjamin. Oh,
all about the bass. And what it did was it made me a head banging rock and roll version of it that had nothing to do with all about the bass, but it was funny.
Make it a parody song for
a parody song.
Yeah.
That seems like something fun to do with students as an assignment. If you're having them learn about something, here, learn about this, but do it as your favorite song that informs higher ed professionals. That informs on the best practices. That's grammatically correct, but I think chat will figure it out. Here's an original classroom-ready song about AI prompt engineering designed for higher ed professionals. Now, you're gonna sing this one, Kat, right? This is your
No.
We're stranded at the edge of something new. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what this is. I don't know if obviously this is not going to be usable in a class, but I don't know. I feel like I can think of an assignment that can use something like this. We're standing at the edge. AI in the classroom. What are we going to do? Not about cheating. It's about design, crafting good prompts that make learning shine. Yeah, nice. What's the chorus? Prompt it right, prompt it bright, say what you want in the guiding light, define the task, set the tone, give examples of the goal you own. That's actually pretty good. I like that. Define the task, set the tone. Add constraints, be concise, ethics first. That's sound advice. That's pretty good. Oh, higher ed, it's our time. Let's. It's a little cringe, but I like this part. As a quick little rhyme. Oh, here we go. What's Taylor say? I had a chat make me a rhyme in the style of "'Twas the night before Christmas," but had it make it about free dental clinic today. Yeah, do you have that, Taylor? Do you have any of those lines? You know, feel free to hop off mute and sing if you'd like. I'll copy it. Okay, that's fine. All right, so a little bit more specific with our prompt here from where we started. What about if we add some context to it? I teach, I'm just going to do applied AI to higher ed professionals. I think I said that already. I'm just going to say at a tech college. I know all of y'all are not at a tech college, but I think most of you are. And it will be a tech college, not a tech college. My students typically, what are my students typically? My students are typically very busy, right? Well, we're all very busy in here. The content should be about prompt engineering and entertaining. I wonder if it's going to give me another song. Okay, here's entertaining, fast-paced, classroom-friendly song about prompt engineering. Let's see what it says. We're in the group, the prompt engineering's group. Say what you want, and the model will move. What's the oh, here's the one in the chat too. 'Twas the day of the clinic at Clover Park site where the dental wing bustled from morning till night. It was pretty busy in there. I went in over there to see if I could get some dental work done. I guess there were people waiting from 7 a.m. to try to get to go into the clinic. And speaking of time, I know we're having fun with this, but I want to be respectful for people. It's Friday at 4, so if you need to go, thank you for your time and thanks for coming. I hope you can come next week, where we will continue prompt engineering. If you want to stay around, I'm gonna keep refining this prompt for the recording, and yeah, I'll see you next time. All right. I know some of y'all are here for the song. Okay. Oh, look at this. Want more? I can also create a one-page handout summarizing the best practices in the song, a classroom activity. Students remix the lyrics with their own prompts. 30-second micro version that you can play. I wanted to do the maybe somebody else knows what's the app. I think it's called Suno. Suno. Does anybody know about Suno AI? I think this is the one that's everybody's using to make those the songs on Spotify. Not to make music. Will it do it, or is it going to make me sign up? Prompt engineering. So like, your songs are almost ready. Your songs are ready. Oh, it's gonna taunt me with these 2 play buttons. Has anybody tried Suno? That's pretty good. It makes pretty good songs. I mean, they're catchy. They follow all the, you know, standard pop song beats, but okay. Let's add some specificity. I'm gonna say let's get off the song for a minute and focus on handout, job aid. Generate number of content type that are So I'm just gonna say one. Handout. That is one page long. Each this is asking for to do multiple things, so we have to do a little bit. I'm just gonna say two handouts. Each should be concise and useful, directly useful in the classroom. Let's use a inclusive tone appropriate for all students levels. We'll see if this comes up with anything good. But it's kind of generic in general. Prompt engineering essentials. Is this free? Oh, we put the lyrics in. Oh, y'all have some experience with this one. Okay, this is good. Let's see if we can do this. Where did my window go? Okay, hold on. I want to look at this handout real quick. What is prompt engineering? Good prompts, save time, better results, fewer revisions. Pretty good. Said it better than I could have. Yeah, there's role again. Role, task, context, format, constraints. I like this formula better actually. Tips for strong prompts, quick wins, be specific, tell the AI what to avoid, give examples. That's pretty good. Handout 2, practical prompts. Ooh, yeah, look at this. Create a rubric for aligned with blank. At least not bad. I want to see what this song, actually, let's see. Can we get that song that Taylor made in here? There we go. Taylor made.
Yeah, the clinic was crazy today. It was
Yeah.
we had 32 people signed up before 10 a.m. and then we had to stop seeing people. We got to we did exam, x-ray, treatment on 14 people, which was insane.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I
All
know.
for
I
free.
went in there. I saw him. That guy was working. He was.
Yeah, we had 2 dentists in there, but yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, it was the day of the clinic. Okay. What style do we want here? Pop, indie pop, rock, cool jazz.
Rock.
What about neo funk? Okay, rock. Can I add more? Yeah, rock and neo funk. What's our mood here that we want?
Rock, punk, energy.
Energy. Is that a mood?
Happy. It's happy. Happy rock.
And how about anticipation? Because it sounds like, kind of we're ready for the day. I'll do joy and anticipation. Any voices? Wow. Soprano, soubrette. I don't know anything about those, and I don't care about the tempo. So this is gonna work. This says I have to do credits. Credits? I don't have any credits. Music task created. Redirecting to the create page. Okay. All right, let's see how this comes up. Let me finish up here. So last thing here, the purpose. So get back over here. So this will be used for giving tips on prompt engineering during our lesson on prompt engineering. The goal is to help students learn how to craft effective prompts. Success means they can create a list of prompts to use in their practice. Say that. Let's see what that comes up with. And let's come back to our song. Okay, it's generating. Multitasking over here. So it's giving us more, it's giving us a rehash of the handout. I kind of like the one before, but let's see here. Why prompts matter. Oh, here it's giving us the why right at the beginning. I don't think the other one did. It says what is prompt engineering? This is talking about why prompt engineering is important. Then it goes straight into the 5-part. Got the tips. Okay. I mean, I would have to like really kind of go side by side on these handouts. But I mean, I think both look pretty good, but I'm sure as I give more purpose and as you can see, as you stack on, the prompt gets a little bit more refined. Here's some other things that you can do for your refinement test. This is how I would look at it. I would assess the quality. Does it match what I need? Would I use this? Is it academically, is the level appropriate academically, and does it reflect your teaching style? And there's a couple of other things here, but I think we're kind of running low on time. I want to see if this, okay, here we go. We'll end on this, twas the day of the clinic. There's 2 versions. Which one do y'all want to hear? 1 or 2?
1.
We can always hear number 2 if we want.
Y'all hear? I don't hear any.
'Twas the day of the
Audio not working, or is it just not
Nope,
playing?
nope, we can hear it. We can hear it.
Y'all can hear it?
Yeah,
You just don't get to hear it.
Yep,
it's probably going to your son's headset.
That's not fair.
it's true.
Is it any good?
So far, we haven't heard any words. It's
Oh.
just
It
instrumental.
was just starting the words.
Not fair.
That I cannot hear this. Oh, okay. I know what the problem is. Hold on. Just need to turn off my Bluetooth. Is that going to break everything? All right, I'm going to go to number 2. Okay, now
Twas the day of the clinic at Clover Park site, where the dental wing bustled from morning till night. The schedules were posted with precision and care, in hopes that our patients soon would be there.
I liked it.
I need to send that.
That
I need to
was-
send that to marketing.
That wasn't bad.
I'm gonna send this to you right now, Taylor, so
Thank
that
you.
and everybody else that's in here, for the secret ending. If I can find out where it's downloading it to. Hold on, download MP3. It's probably gonna make me sign in to download it, right? I don't know. I'll figure this out. Maybe I'll just put it into the course. I'm gonna let y'all go because it's Friday at 4. So have a great weekend. Thanks for sticking around for the secret ending, and I'll see y'all next time.
Have a great
Bye.
one.
All right.